And I'm also wondering for people, is there a point where you take it too far? Colby Covington was about to get cut from the UFC.
Yeah, bad.
Right? Completely went, fuck it. I know I'm getting cut. I'm switching this up. Went to, I think it would have been Brazil. He won a fight.
Yeah,
and he went nuts on the crowd. Said, this place is a dump. You're all animals. And just became a heel. Like literally a heel in wrestling.
Yeah, switched.
And ever since, he has taken that heel character, went tenfold, and then...
It's worked for him.
Went even further. Like now he's like Dustin Poirier. He's like saying, "Oh, your wife's got fake tits. Fuck your kids." Like all this stuff that's like crosses that extra line for a lot of UFC fighters.
I hate it. Like,
but now I want to see every fight.
I know. I love. Ladies
and gentlemen, it is Morokai with 2 Eyes. We're back on every single Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday, 7 a.m. on Spotify and 4:30 p.m. on YouTube. Favorite UFC fighter of all time? Who you got?
Yeah, Johnny Bones, 100%.
Oh, good pick.
I nearly cried the other weekend when he got the heavyweight belt.
Were you disappointed in the fight, though?
Nah. I love Johnny Bones. Oh, dude, I was like, because he's had the long layoff, and then I was just like, I get nervous. I get full nervous, right? If I love a fighter, there's a few fighters that I
get
love,
that too.
man.
Yeah, that like butterfly.
It's like I'm fighting.
I feel like I'm his wife in the crowd.
And like, you don't want that person to like lose.
Oh, I hate it,
that
man.
sense, like that massive like rush of just like, they've done it. They've actually done it. And like you're giddy for them.
It's like, you know, when your footy team loses and you're like, crap. Yeah. It's like, but they'll be back next weekend. With a UFC fighter, it's like if something bad happens, they can be off for a long time.
That's
so
true.
You feel it. Like I'm one of those guys where I feel their pain. Like if one of my guys I love gets knocked out, or he's lost the belt, or he's on an 8-fight win streak, and now he's finally getting a shot fighting for the title and he loses. I'm like, I feel that for you, bro. I feel that right in my heart.
Mate,
like
John Bones versus DC, that rivalry is like a WWE rivalry for me.
I loved the whole
every
thing.
second of it.
I remember the second fight. I was at the pub and I was so nervous. I always get nervous when Johnny Bones fights because I love the fact that he's just like undefeated and just like he's an absolute beast. Yeah, even he's got all the dramas. I don't even care. But like I remember that DC fight.
Dramas,
we were at the second DC fight at this pub in Sunshine, I think it was, and everyone there was like there for DC, right? You can just tell.
Oh wow!
No one but me. So as soon as he like kicked him in the head and he knocked him out, I jumped off my seat. I've done this a few times, actually, with a few fights. I've jumped off my seat. And I was that guy walking there going, yes, yes. And just like screaming up my lungs at like the screen while all these guys just look pissed off and just stand up and walk away. But it's been a few of those moments where like we've been the only people cheering for a dude and then like yelling at the screen. So
man, do you know one of the craziest moments I've ever been to was when I went to, it was like a pub hotel thing and they were obviously showing the fights. And it was George Masvidal versus Ben Askren.
Yeah.
Fastest knockout in UFC history, the running knee.
And the power
he even planned it in the back room. Like he had everything set up in his head, which is just mind-boggling. When he did that slow walk, because he even said it in the podcast with Joe Rogan, he said, I couldn't just run at him. He's like, I've been planning this for like weeks. I had to slowly build that momentum and then just pounce.
Yeah.
When he did that slow walk, the minute he started sprinting, the TV at this hotel cut out.
It did everywhere. It did everywhere because we were out at Knox and it went out.
You're kidding.
And I went on Twitter and Twitter was just like furious, eh? Like I went on the Foxtel, like the main event Twitter account.
Yep.
And it was just blowing up with people like shredding.
When did yours come back on? Because it was the knockout.
When
it came
Brett
back
Askren
on.
was on the ground
literally.
like this.
Mate, the entire room was just like, what the fuck happened? The minute it came on, it's like, oh my God.
why that moment happened like that and where it cut out. Like, because we were confused as we're like, because in our head we were like, the fight couldn't have lasted 5 seconds because we were like
it's like
did
impossible.
It skip? Did we miss it? Was it delayed to start with? Like, what's just happened? And it's just like, what the hell happened? And then like they show the replay and it's just like, that was like the most iconic moment ever in history, and we all missed it. And it was like everyone at the pub was just like, "What the hell was that? What the hell happened? What the hell?" And like, so we all lost that moment because that would have been sick to be at the pub when everyone like,
oh my God, it was
cheers, man.
Yeah, watching the replay, I heard the place erupt, and I was like, imagine if I saw that fucking live.
Would have been sick.
Oh, have you got a favorite UFC moment of all time?
Oh yeah, so many. Eh? Oh, the Johnny Bones knocking out DC the second time was great. Another good moment was actually like the Nate Diaz versus Conor McGregor one. We're at this pub in I can't remember where it was, and place was packed because all the Conor McGregor
Conor
fights,
packs out everywhere,
and it was packed for Conor. It was full of Conor fans, filled, and I got rowdy that day. So I was like drinking, and then like Holly Holm just lost the belt, and we were like a bit down about that. And then Nate Diaz gets up there and he submits Conor, and I literally stood on my stool and on the table and was like, yes, and just screaming at the
shit.
I get that passionate because I was like, didn't think it was going to happen. Right? I love Nate Diaz, but I genuinely thought Conor was on that hype. He's the dude. He's just going to knock him out. He's going to piece him up. It's going to be game over. And I lost it, and I was walking up and down the aisle like being an absolute knob end, right? Like bad, right? I was that guy, right?
It's a bit dangerous in the pub toppers scenario. There's people who want to fight.
I was so happy. But actually, if I had to pick one best moment was actually when Amanda Nunes knocked out Holly Holm. Knocked out Ronda Rousey.
That was good. Because
we were in Perth. Me and the boys went on a road trip to Perth, And Perth's like, 4 hours behind or 3 hours behind. So we had to get to this pub at like 7:30 in the morning to like watch the fight. That was this awesome sports bar in Perth, And we got there early and there was no one there. And it was really cool because they actually opened up the bar early. They opened up all the bars early over there so you can watch it, which is cool. So we got there early. No one else is there. We parked up and they had a massive, real good quality large screen, right? And me and the boys just parked up right in front of it, right? Like with the tables. And then the place filled out. It was all people piling in, and we're like, this is like a massive event, And then once again, Ronda Rousey got knocked out, and me and the boys just like erupted, like throwing stuff in the air. Yes, just turn around to like the bar, expecting anyone else to be like ready to high five us, and it was just like 100 people just standing there like absolutely pissed off, and me and the boys are just like yes, like because we were just not going for Ronda Rousey, and
Mate,
we were
Ronda
like,
Rousey got tore apart. Like she got impact, and
Dude,
then to go up against Nunes, that was hard to watch.
The Nunes one was it was great to watch. I loved it. like we were like grabbing the chairs, I'm passionate about it. When my boy or girl wins, I love it.
What about you, Big Far? Favorite UFC fight?
I'm probably a bit more. I'd say old school because I used to watch it a bit more like when it was 1HD and stuff because I used to work a lot of Sundays, so I didn't really get to see a lot of the fights. But I would say anything like GSP, that era. I was a big fan of BJ Penn as well. Granted, I know there's not a lot of
God, he's gone downhill
for him. But like I sort of like had that like the Chuck Liddells. Around like that era, so like I really,
sort of thing.
I really enjoyed like that sort of stuff. As far as new fighters go, I do recall. I think it may have been yourself. We were over at a mate's place. It was a Conor McGregor fight, and it was for a title. I don't know if it was like maybe him going for like the other titles as well. Like I'm a bit of a UFC novice, so I apologise. But there was a fight where he delivered.
Alvarez?
Could have been that. I can't. It was the one where he taunted the guy, and when he taunted, he like leant forward, put his arms behind his back, and like was like pretty much like, "Come on, hit me!" And then he just destroyed the guy, and I was like, "Holy shit!" I was like, "You took the piss and made that look so easy."
And you know what's scary? Eddie Alvarez is an animal. Eddie Alvarez is a good fighter. So to watch McGregor piece him up like he did, I was like, "Oh my God, this is like a magician."
Yeah, that was
fucking next level.
He stood. That was like going for the second belt at Madison Square Garden.
Yeah, I was just like, this is fucked. Like he genuinely was like as in like just hit me. Like I don't actually care if you land it good on you. Like I don't give a shit.
He like looked like he had no threat.
Yeah, I was like, dude, like what the fuck?
Do you know they didn't have the second belt for him in that
event?
They had to go to Tyrone Woodley in the crowd and be like, "We need your belt." And Conor McGregor, while they're trying to find a belt, he's like, "Where's that fucking second belt? I've been waiting for this my time. What the fuck is that belt?"
Dude, and like he's so right too because they should have had that second belt there ready to go. Like because he was like going. The whole idea was he was there to make history, which he did. And they were like, "Oh, he actually did it. We don't have another belt."
I still can't get over the insane moment him versus Khabib. It ends, and then Khabib's team jump into the ring like his brother tries to. Connor's even like gassed as fuck, and he's still dodging punches from like his team. And he actually landed a good shot. I think it was Khabib's brother or a teammate.
It was his teammate. Yeah, it was. But it was pretty hectic. Like I remember watching that because I like immediately I was going for Khabib, and then I was like stoked that he won. And I watched all that happen. I'm like, what the hell, man? It's crazy sport, eh? Like, there's always something. Yeah.
That was like a proper rivalry, though. Like, there was no, like, love-loss. Like, that was, like, real hate.
That's why he jumped in the crowd. He was, even though he just won the fight, he was like, nah, this ain't over. Like, fucking yeah.
There's crazy moments non-stop. I like diving into things like early stoppages, late stoppages.
Yeah.
The oblique kick. Mate, there was one guy who did it so, like this. He landed so high up. This guy's leg was ruined.
Yeah.
Like ruined. Like you hear an actual scream the minute it hit. And the guy's like, his knee's now fucked. It's out.
Yeah.
Shit.
There was a thing. There has been a few guys, like, I don't really see it happening, but there's a few guys who have come out and said that should be an illegal move.
I think it should be illegal.
Because then, because the problem is, like, you get kicked in the head, you get knocked out, but you can fight again. Like, you blow your knee out. You're done. Yeah. Like, that's your career over. Yeah. Like, it's one of those arguments where it's like, I don't think it should be illegal because it's like, I mean, if you can put your shin into someone's mouth,
it's part of the sport, isn't it?
I will say though, if that's legal, why the fuck is I think it's the 6 to 12
elbows? It's a dumb rule.
John Bones lost his one and only fight. It's like,
which he didn't lose.
He didn't lose.
Let's be honest, we all saw how that fight was playing out,
and I was like, what a dumb rule.
There was I think it was Big John McCarthy. He did a thing with Joe Rogan. I think he was saying, because when they were first writing the rules back in the day, I'm pretty sure I'm not making this up. I'm pretty sure I watched him say this. It was because they were writing the rules for MMA to try and get it like sanctioned, so they could say, "Hey, this is a sport. It's not like just Mortal Kombat."
Yeah.
Like, it's like
this guy's playing touch butt.
Yeah. It's like, this is like, we're trying to make this a real sport. They were trying to say like something stupid, like they used to think that's like, when they used to break the concrete or something. Like, so we can't do that. That's
in karate, yeah.
But they were like, because that was like one of the things that they said, like not the MMA community. They were like, okay, well, you can have that one. It was like one of those, fine, you can have that one as long as we can still, like, smack you in the head. Fine, we'll take out eye pokes too and fish hooking. Like,
it is crazy how high level fighters are now. Like, it's at a ridiculous amount. You got like the Russians who they're wrestling, the way they can control weight.
It's great.
And for the first time, it's about fucking time. For the first time, we finally see someone. So Islam Makhachev, I can't say his last name right, but versus Volkanovski.
Volkanovski,
sorry.
That's an Aussie, correct?
Yeah. That finally someone who like had the answer. Like, he's defending it or beating the shit out of him from the back. Good. I'm like, you're kidding? Like, someone, because it has been Khabib taking over for so long, and everyone's like, the minute Khabib takes you down, you've got no answer. And someone finally has an answer.
And that was the thing about that's why Khabib was so like obviously so famous, because everyone knew what he was going to do. Like, his game plan wasn't a secret. It wasn't like he had some new strategic game plan. His game plan was the same every fight.
Yep.
I'm going to grab you, and I'm going to take you down, and that's game over for you.
Definitely.
Every fight. It doesn't matter if I submit you, great. If not, I'll just do it to you for 3, 4, 5 rounds. Like, he had the same game plan every fight, and it worked, and no one had the answer. I remember, I think it's the Dustin Poirier fight when he fought him. You can see Dustin tried this cheeky little move where he kind of span around.
Yep.
He tried, and you could tell that was something he'd obviously worked on, because he tried it twice in the fight, right? And both times, Khabib's just like, I'll just move with you. And like, it was like, whoa, you could just tell that like Khabib's like, oh yeah, I've seen that shit before. Like,
but his cardio's next level. Volk's, I've never seen anyone's cardio better than Volkanovski's.
That was amazing.
And I think that the fact that his cardio played such a big part in him being able to, while defending, which every other fighter, say against Khabib, has been focusing all their energy on just not getting choked.
Yeah.
Volk's focusing all his energy on fighting back while he's in defense mode. I'm like, next level.
It was a great fight for that.
It was fucking awesome.
He could have just been smothered, but he just like, nope, I'm going to keep attacking. And like, he got put in some rough positions, but like, he ended up that fight on top. Like, that last round, he was like on top, and I was like, fight goes another round. Look at MAKHACHEV was like tired, and his face was beat up. Volk's face was fine. Like, he had like one little cut.
Yep. What do you think about because we have you seen WWE before? Do you watch much of it?
I'm not a big fan of wrestling. To be completely
well,
honest.
I'll start with Lee first. Then, what did you think? Because it's only happened once. I was gonna be like, what do you think of celebrities coming in the sport? But because it's such a high level, it's actually very rare. But CM Punk came in from WWE and got obliterated. So what was it like watching someone who's at like such a high level in one sport go to another and just get fucking destroyed?
Obviously WWE being scripted, and all that.
But it doesn't change the fact.
No,
like,
it doesn't.
Like
you still take the bumps and like the hits and stuff like that. But I feel like in like the WWE, I feel like maybe if you're like having like a fight or whatever, you're sort of like, yeah, cool. I sort of know how this is going to go, more or less. Whereas, like, when you're actually, like, in there, it's like, dude, like, the other person's main objective, like, they want you dead. Like, there's no, like, love. Like, it's genuine like this. And especially when you've jumped sport as well. I feel like anyone that's jumping WWE into, like, MMA, I could be wrong, but, like, I feel like they'd be like, oh, I cannot wait to show you how things are really done.
Yeah.
Like you think you're king shit? No, welcome to my world, mate. Like, you are going to fucking bleed today.
Yeah, that was the first only fight I watched where I'm like, oh, that person should not be in the ring.
I feel to a degree they kind of stitched him up too, right? Like, well, no, I think there was a little bit of delusion on CM Punk's behalf. I feel like he thought it was going to be easier than what it was. I think he thought they were going to give him like, well, yeah, on the second fight, maybe the second fight they gave him another guy who wasn't that good.
Yeah, but the first fight they gave Mickey Gall, and Mickey Gall is like a brown belt in jiu-jitsu.
Yeah, and what did he do? He took him straight down, and then just like mauled him and showed.
But the second one, I forget his name, was embarrassing. Like even Dana White was like, I fucking hated what that fighter did to CM Punk because he got on top of him and just started slapping him, like not even actually punching him. And he's like, that is embarrassing. I'm like, all right, well at least he kept the fight going.
He came out and actually said afterwards that he was trying to get as much camera time for that. Like he was trying to play the whole, like, I want more time. Like, it's like, what benefits that? Like, finish the guy.
Yeah.
If you're telling people that he has no business being there, then finish the guy.
Yeah.
Yeah, show us that way.
And the CM Punk, like, he was already in his 30s, right? Like, and it wasn't like he was going into any sort of prime. Like, he's facing guys who live, breathe, eat, like, sleep and living in their cars, like, who just breathe fighting, yeah? Like, and they've had real fights.
That's
like,
true.
Like you say, you've done scripted. There's a difference between being like strong and like an actual tough person.
Correct.
You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, like you got to be tough and athletic to be a wrestler.
Yep.
No doubt about it. The stuff they do is absolutely crazy and bananas, right? But that's not the same as
it's
like
nowhere near
grinding
the
out
same.
and, like, having the skills and the mindset and the knowledge and the right now, like fighting with someone, you know what I mean? Like,
I suppose asking you two who are definitely more UFC than myself, clearly, do you think the walkouts play into, like, for example, like we've seen Conor McGregor come out with some amazing walkouts, Izzy as well.
Yeah.
And like, do you think that adds like a whole different presence as well? Like when you see them coming out to like whether it's a song that they're really into or the crowd's really into, like how much of that would you say plays an effect on the opponent, especially if they're already in the ring waiting for you to come out, and then you just see like the whole crowd, and you're like, "Fuck!" Now, not only is the fight like against like you per se, but like even the crowd's with you.
I've thought about that.
So like even like when I like get hit by a punch, like the crowd's gonna be amplified again when like that guy lands like a punch or a kick, like just that battle in and of itself.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Like there's been some good ones. Like you said, the Izzy one. Like I remember when he came out and did that, I thought it was like so lame. Like he did the dance and everything, right? Yeah. But then he goes in and then kicks Whittaker's ass, right? Which broke my heart because I love Whittaker. But that becomes iconic now. He walked out confident, does a dance, and then wins the world title in 2 rounds. It's like, well, yeah, now it becomes this big iconic thing. And he went in there, he was like, you know, in Australia, in their territory, so, you know, still, you know, New Zealand, but like, you know, it was the Aussie guy, everyone wanted Whittaker to win.
Yeah.
But yeah, he still went and did it. Like,
I don't know about interested, but I definitely think home plate advantage plays a massive fact. Like if you're starting to clip someone up and then you actually land a few good punches and you chase him down and you're just hearing this roar of
like all for like that
you,
name.
That adrenaline must like go fucking nuts. And then imagine if you're getting this beating and you're just hearing people cheer while you're like literally getting beat down. I was like, nah, I think there's that.
Like you'd almost go to like that different level of like, nah, like these people are getting around me. Like I want to put on a show for it. Or like even like when you're like maybe at your lowest and you're like, I'm so fucking sore right now. But I've got all these people cheering my name. Actually, there's a bit of a sense of belief here. Like, I might be actually able to, like, I'm going to use that energy, almost like Goku, and just like spirit bombing, like just grabbing like this aura from the crowd. And be like, nah, like, let's fucking change the script. Like, let's flip this shit.
You've seen some guys, like, and they get amped and they get hyped and they'll, like, you know, they'll get their ass kicked for like 4 rounds and then they'll come back and they're like, no, I'm going to, like, bury this guy now. Then you see guys just see like they just don't want to be in there and you think, oh man. But then you got to think about like in a normal day, right? You'll wake up and some days you just like you got enough sleep, everything was fine, but you do not want to go to work, right? Now imagine your job is like you just woke up, you've done all the right things, the weight cut was good, but you wake up and you're just like, I'm just not in the mood to fight someone today, right? And that guy might be so ready to fight you.
I said that to Lee. I was like, you know, they're paying like tens of $1,000s for like these blood tests, like the right weight cut, like the right saunas. the recovery is like to a degree that is so high.
Yeah.
Yet sometimes you'll see in their post-fight interviews like, I'm not going to lie, I don't, and they always say, I don't want to use an excuse, but I was feeling pretty sick and I wasn't feeling 100%. And again, as you said, like there's some days I hop out of bed and I'm like, I'm ready to fucking kill today. And there's some days I'm like, I don't want to be around anyone. And I'm thinking how many fighters have gone out and been 100%. like, I need a Panadol, man. Like, fucking hell.
And like, it's like, you gotta, like, that's why I always think like the Brazilian guys do well because they don't really care about the fame or any of that. Where that you can see like a lot of the American fighters and even like the Aussie guys, like they might think about the fame, like they want to lose their belt because they think about the money, they think about the loss, and like they got different priorities in their head. So it's like they're not as, you know.
That's the first time out of every single episode that we've done. That's the first time we've ever had something like that happen. Like we've had birds fly into this window or that window, but that's the first time your brother's ever done that.
I fall and drop water. I can't wait to play that back and hear the fuck.
That's a clip right there. That's a short right there.
I can see it on his face.
Yeah,
he knows you can
he's
see
so
it.
bad. He's like, my brother's not going to let me live that down.
That's good.
Oh, that's a pisser.
That was mad.
Mate, one of my favourite stories in the UFC, and I'm also wondering for people, is there a point where you take it too far? Colby Covington was about to get cut from the UFC.
Yeah, bad.
Completely went, fuck it. I know I'm getting cut. I'm switching this up. Went to, I think it would have been Brazil. He won a fight.
Yeah,
and
the Damian Maia fight.
he went nuts on the crowd. Said, this place is a dump. You're all animals. And just became a heel. Like literally a heel in wrestling.
Yeah, okay, like switched.
And ever since, he has taken that heel character, went tenfold, and then
It's worked for him.
went even further. Like now he's like Dustin Poirier. He's like saying, "Oh, your wife got fake tits. Fuck your kids." Like all this stuff that's like crosses that extra line for a lot of UFC fighters.
I hate it. Like,
but now I want to see every fight.
I know. I love. So the thing is, like, I keep having to remind myself it's an act, right?
Like it's a character.
It is a character.
And you can remember it when he went up to Usman the second fight and went real quick, thinking, "Oh, this might not be recorded." Went, "Come here." He goes, "You know, it's all for the money, right?
Yeah,
you know, it's all for the money, right?" Like he whispered that to him.
Yeah, and like. Yeah, but there's a lot of guys who have actually worked with him and said like he actually is like one of the nicest guys behind closed doors.
I hear that
just
all the
like
time.
It is a full character.
Yeah,
it's just like the thing is why it's hard to like grasp because like he crosses the border boundary. Like you think he doesn't, but he does. Like he says stuff about people he shouldn't say, and then but like what does it do? Creates clicks. You know what I mean? Like
George Masvidal jumped him in real life.
Yeah.
And now all I want to do is see another George Masvidal versus Colby Covington fight.
Yeah.
Leon Edwards, George Masvidal backstage, 3-piece combo.
Yeah.
Gave it to him, and now Leon Edwards is champion. All I want to see is George Masvidal. And it doesn't even matter to me if George Masvidal is meant to. I know he just got knocked out by Usman, and I know he didn't beat Colby, but I'm like, because of the storyline, I'm okay for you to skip those two and go straight to the championship.
I want him to jump. So he's got a fight next month.
With Leon, because I did hear he declined to fight, is that correct? But then Dana was like, no, you're doing the fight.
No, he declined it first because George Masvidal was like, Leon's not even close to my name. I'm bringing in big numbers. I'm about to versus Diaz. Why the fuck would I want to go against Leon? Now Leon's champion.
Yeah, now
so he's like,
but
all right,
and they were trying to make the Colby Leon fight, which is still a good fight. Don't get me wrong. Like I think Colby beats Leon.
I think Colby destroys Leon.
Colby's like really good. I think that's what pisses people off the most. It was like the Conor McGregor thing, man. Conor McGregor was like talking all this shit when he was like on the rise. What was he doing? Kicking ass
knocking
the whole way up.
Yeah, so
and he made it look cool. Yeah. And then he would have these awesome punchlines at the end of like every fight. Like
he could talk the talk, but also walk the walk. Like what he was doing, he could back it up. So you become for a lot of people, you either loved him or you loved to hate him.
Yeah, and he had a good fighting style. See, Colby's kind of got like his fighting style isn't that. It's actually great and dominant. Like he's actually got like a really cool. Like he's a great wrestler, right? And he's had good fights. Like he had that.
But it's not as showy as someone like Conor.
Right. Like his fights were good with Usman. Like I thought both those two fights that Colby had, like he did really well. Like it's just Usman was just a little bit better on both nights. But yeah, Colby he is easily the number 2, well, number 1 even. Like, you know, Usman's lost twice now. You might even say that Colby's like the best in that division.
Yeah, Colby.
You know what I mean? Like he's pretty damn good.
He is next level. Do you watch One Championship at all?
A little bit. I watched like I like Mighty Mouse, you know, Demetrius Johnson.
I was just about to say it's my favourite fighter.
I love that guy. I was so pissed when he got cut from the US. I swapped. I think he comes back to the UFC at some point.
Maybe, yeah.
Randomly, maybe the next year or two.
There's not that many fighters.
He's making a lot of money over there, though. He's making a lot of money. He gets a lot of things, gifted to him. So as in like he's became like the president of like their gaming thing or whatever or something. Yeah, because he's a mad gamer too. Yeah.
Yep.
So I think he's like, why would I just go fight over there, make big cash? And
he's made heaps. His when he threw someone in the air, grabbed their arm, and got an arm bar in.
I can't think of his name right now, but
mate, it was just next level. Yeah, One Championship's doing some big things. They don't really have the rivalries that are set up.
Yeah,
and they do like standing Muay Thai and the cat. Like they got some cool things, but it is definitely not story driven. UFC story driven. UFC complains, right? They'll whinge and be like, Conor McGregor throwing a dolly through the bus is so ridiculously unprofessional. He needs to be cut. But they'll use it in every promo material they can.
If you go look at that clip, I think it's their most watched like embedded clip. Like, really? They love that.
Oh, they know.
The same as when like Conor McGregor walked in, he threw the water bottle and like Conor, don't you dare to, and he's like, fuck that.
Can't stop.
He's just like throwing that water bottle after water bottle.
And it's like, probably at the time, he probably is right. That's probably like, oh crap, this is more paperwork. This is more something else, right? But then after the fact, when the fight goes well, does big numbers, looks amazing, like there's no controversy in the fight, like, after the fact, he's probably like, yeah, that all paid out well,
With the press conferences, do you think it's a good thing or a bad thing, the fact that Dana White gets so involved, as in one of his fighters might do poorly? Jake Roberts, he did so. I don't know if I'm going to give him another fight. He did so poorly. That's so disappointing.
He's not a very. It's one of those. When he wants to, he's a great promoter, but he's also a demoter. Like, if that's, what I mean. It's like, isn't that guy on your roster? Like, hump that guy up. Yeah. Like, if someone does something stupid,
call him out.
Yeah. But like, he does do that a lot. Where I think it's like he'll like shit on his fighter, and it's like, why?
Probably speak his mind a bit too much.
He might have to slow down a bit now after hitting his wife.
Dude, that's still funny though, because we talked about that, and that seems to be just swept under
the rug. It's done.
Well, you know why? Because he had that stupid bad timing as well. He got that power slap show.
I hate that show.
It's garbage. It's the numbers. It's actual it'll be off the air in like 6 months.
Yeah, they're not going to do another. It was so bad that the best thing it can do is maybe clips for a short on YouTube.
That's what he was doing.
No one's going to watch it.
If you went on their Instagram, it was just all that. Like, they were really struggling to pump it. And everyone was just like, no. Yeah. It's watching guys slap him. Because, like, watching a guy slap him in the face, right? Like, those clips have been around for years now. They've been doing that shit in Russia for, like, however long.
Ages.
And it's like, when you first saw it, you're like, this is ridiculous. But, like, I don't even know what kind of person is watching that stuff and enjoying it. To be honest, like, because everyone I know who loves UFC, they've all said that the power slap's stupid and garbage. So I haven't met anyone who's like, this is awesome, I love it.
Because there's no skill in whatsoever.
There's no skill.
There's no skill.
I don't care.
One thing
it's like you can take a punch or you can't take a punch, or most people can't. Like, you slap someone in the face hard enough, they're gonna,
Mate, I hope there's a documentary in like 20 years about the brain damage some of these people might have because of this slap fighting league. Because some people use it as a sport, especially in Russia. There's like an actual league set up. Have you got a in UFC? Have you got like a dream match?
Oh,
forget weight classes. Like someone can because I would love Izzy John Jones.
Yeah, I wanted that.
I would love Pierre John Jones. I think Pierre is a fucking menace.
Yeah, he's grouse. When you say that, I'm like, I really want to see that. Which will happen, I think. Whitaker and Pereira. I can't remember his last name. Yeah, like Pereira and Whitaker. Yep. I'm really looking forward to that one. That's going to happen. Oh no, there was one recently. I am excited to see John Jones and Stipe. That's going to be sick. I think he should just retire after. If he beats Stipe, just retire.
Yeah.
Just like, you beat
who else
everyone. Yeah. You're the best in the world. You've proved it. You've beaten like how many people who have worn belts previously. Like, you are the best in history, in stone. It's going to take a lot for someone to like even like sniff your legacy, bro.
Are you shattered that Francis Ngannou's gone and that fight's never going to happen?
Nah.
Really? No. That one to me was like the fight.
Yeah, right. They messed around too long and they took too long to do it and they mucked around and like obviously Francis wasn't getting paid enough, but I think Francis comes back to the UFC. I think he comes back. Really? I think he's going to like do some stupid boxing match.
Yep.
Realize it was stupid and they're going to.
Well, so many people have made the point now that it's like
He's getting older
when
too.
Tyson Fury wanted you, it's because you were the UFC World Heavyweight Champion. You've now left. Tyson Fury is doing other shit. Boxing has gone so downhill, viewers-wise.
Yeah.
It's just the only notable names now is Deontay Wilder, Tyson Fury, then Tank Davis, and who's Tank going up against?
When's Davis fighting? He's fighting soon, isn't he?
Yeah, he's fighting Ryan Garcia.
Yeah.
That is going to be a massive fight.
So
Other than that,
even
boxing
Anthony
is
Joshua's
struggling.
like a nobody now.
Well, Anthony Joshua has been taking L's for a bit. Yeah,
right,
but that's what I mean.
Yeah,
UFC, I could name
like a
4
solid
names, and not just because I'm into it. I could name 4 great names throughout each division.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah,
there's
right.
some fucking people who are characters, some people who have incredible knockouts. Boxing, it's like, fuck, it's struggling.
Yeah, right, okay.
And boxing, like, I don't know, like, well, even like, I hate to say it, but even like Jake Paul's actually kind of made boxing interesting. You know what I mean? Like,
He has.
Like, it's not even like high level, but it's like enough to
Brings
in that
audience to the
yeah,
sport.
for real. Like he's you know, he's his own smart ass in his own right too, and does all. You know,
But he knows what he's doing.
he knows
so,
what he's doing.
yeah.
He's a smart kid, right? Like he fully is. But like, hey, I haven't cared about boxing, but I'm watching all his fights.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? So he's
exactly
swearing.
what I'm
But,
talking about.
Like, I love UFC the most. Like I think like I don't mind boxing, but yeah, UFC's like it's just more interesting. Like because jiu-jitsu's awesome.
So have you got a
Grappling's
style you
awesome.
like watching most? Like Muay Thai, like boxing, dirty
yeah.
boxing, clinch,
Yeah, like
jiu-jitsu.
I wouldn't say I have one because like I used to love KHABIB, right? And I knew he was just going to wrestle.
Yeah.
And I loved it, right? But then like I like McGregor because he has his style. I love John Jones because you never know what you're going to get. Like his striking's not like crazy, but like he'll choke you out. He'll do weird things. He has a great highlight reel. You know what I mean? Like just random different stuff. But yeah, like sometimes you just get those fights where it's just 2 stand-up people and they just like slug it out for 15 minutes and you're like, this is sick. But then, you know,
Do you know what I'm surprised about? I'm surprised no one's died in the ring yet.
it's probably a good thing.
Because
true.
in boxing, there's been deaths. In WWE, when Rey Mysterio hit like a 619 in the ring,
especially with all the head hits
and
that they take.
Some of the knockouts where
It takes one bad hit and then that's it.
there was a knockout that was scary. I saw that was a highlight, and I think it was last year. But he got a massive punch to the dome, then acted, and then was fine, and then like 5 seconds later, it's like then it hit. And then he stumbled
like that
back and
delay.
fell like,
Yeah,
it's like
that's-
massive punch, acted normal 5 seconds, then bang. It's
and
like
then
it hit him then.
I think, what's his name? He did an interview actually recently. He talked about it. He goes, he felt fine and then it all blacked out afterwards. It was like a delayed reaction in his brain. I was like, that's scary.
Very
That's
scary.
not, I would like stop fighting.
Some of the
tomorrow.
submissions are scary. There was one just
when
recently
people
where
don't tap.
like if you're flexible, you think you can take a lot, but next thing you know, your knee's getting cranked so far back that you're going to be out. Your arm's getting cranked so far back, you're going to be out for a period of time, but you don't want to tap because some people are like, I'd rather pass out before I tap out.
Yeah.
It's like,
Well, that's what I mean. Like some of
Yeah,
those.
but then it's like loss of oxygen to the depending on the
Yeah.
move. Sorry, but yeah.
But that's like like we said, like those like joint submissions or whatever. Like like you can break an arm. Like you go to sleep, you're probably going to be all right. Like you wake back up, but like you can rip someone's like shoulder out. Like you could mess up some. There was actually a guy out there doing what's his name? McCabe is that his name? And his like leg was like going backwards.
I
Like,
watched that one.
Dude.
Yeah, that's one of the ones I was talking
I was
about.
like, bro, tap. And then like, he won that fight at the end, funnily enough. But it's like your leg might be freaking damaged forever now. Like
it does piss me off when people like, oh, look, everyone can criticize anything in life, but when people are like, oh, that was a shit fighter, this shit person, like to just be in the UFC, like to just be on that roster says just something about you. I know you might have had a really crappy performance, but like that person can beat up 99%, like even more of the population.
Yeah.
Did you see that 18-year-old Mexican kid that
Yeah.
and he
I don't think he's gonna make it, man. Just
don't think
my
so?
opinion. Like, all right, it's like he's good, but I don't know.
not
I
if he's
think
in
it's
English
those-
and literacy.
Oh man, I think he's gonna. I think he's gonna struggle when he gets to some of those bigger guys. I think he looks like he's already taken a lot of damage for it.
He looks like he's taken a lot of damage.
Yeah,
But I did see,
feel
I
like-
saw I don't know if it was embedded or a different video, but the first guy he versed, the guy talks so much shit saying like, if I lose to an 18-year-old kid, I'm leaving the sport. And he kept making those statements. I'm like, fuck, calm down. And he lost. And in the ring, he's like, I'm done. He said to his coaches, like, I'm out of the sport. He's like, I can't fucking believe it. Like, I need to leave. I'm like, fuck, man.
A lot of guys, man, I actually get heartbroken when you see guys keep coming back. Like, I love it when
Cody
guys
Garbrandt.
retire.
That broke my heart.
He's Did he win the other week or not? Yeah, he did win. Yeah,
he finally won, but it wasn't like a great win.
Nah, he's yeah, he was one of those guys where I was like, when he beat Dominic Cruz, and I was like, man, mate, that was insane. Like, I was like, and Dom like actually did all right. Like, you watch that fight back, Dom actually had some pretty good moments, but Dominic, he had the bad feet for that gig too, so he wasn't doing like his usual movements. So if you actually watch it back, he's very flat-footed, and he said that afterwards. He goes, I was very flat-footed. Like, I didn't do my dancing around. So maybe if his feet would get a difference, but Cody Garbrandt was like eye of the tiger at that point. Like, he was coming up, just smashing dudes, doing good, and then like just had 3 nasty knockouts in a row. 4, I think he had in a row.
Yeah,
got that. Yeah, that last one he had with like. But yeah, that's kind of sad because you're like, oh man, he was just getting there, and then just.
But then you find out TJ Dillashaw was cheating as well.
Yeah, Dillashaw messed up,
Bad mess up.
That's like an actual like cheater too. That was
like, actual. His coach, who's like
proper
full on nutrition master, didn't even know. Like, he was keeping it. From him as well.
That's crazy.
Yeah, so he's keeping it from his coach.
I don't believe that for a second.
There's a good argument to say that that's full of shit, considering like how smart his coach was.
I think he might have just tried to like save his coach by like
taking all the blame.
It's a good argument to make.
I don't want you going down with me because like I think it's. I think, but what I don't know. No one knows. They know. Yeah. They're the only 2 people that know. Yeah. Yep. Like, for real. So, but yeah, just to like, oh man, you got to like look your kid in the eye and say, yeah, I cheated. Yep. Why? I wanted to win. If you ain't cheating, you ain't trying. Like,
he was so good though. He was so good. I don't know why he needed to cheat. Have you watched any Bellator?
Oh, I do watch a little bit of Bellator.
What about Kimbo Slice?
Yeah.
Original.
Yeah, it was. I think Bellator. Yeah, they play too much into that. I think they're trying to stop that now, which is good. They play too much into that
WWE kind of shit.
Yeah, like they're kind of this in between where the UFC can be like a real sport, and Bellator's kind of this like, not a
playground
thing. Yeah,
like a little bit,
kind of a little bit of a. We'll do all the goofiest stuff.
Yeah, okay.
Like weird fights and like
stuff that just doesn't really make a lot of sense.
But they have had good fights, like they do. There has been some pretty good fighters come from there. And,
wasn't Jack Swagger like part of Bellator?
Yeah, he was
for like a little bit. And he did all right on
that. Batista went into
Bobby Lashley as well.
Yeah, that just shows that there's so many different levels. They couldn't fight.
Yeah,
Batista was embarrassing. Jack Swagger, he choked his opponent, who was like this overweight like dad, like a soccer dad, and he choked him way too long. He didn't.
Oh wow!
The referee said, "We're done," and he just didn't let go. And the fighter afterwards went up. He's like, bro, I got fucking kids. What are you doing? Like, he's like, why are you fucking doing that shit?
Yeah, shit.
So, right. That's probably the worst part about fighting. I hate people who are like...
Go too far?
Who win, but then they go... they're too extra. Like, I even saw a weigh-in once. Like, it's just a fight, like maybe something in Melbourne. And this guy's like standing there and this other guy comes up and pushes him so hard out of nowhere that he falls so far fucking back. Then he like cracks his skull open on the wall. And I'm like... Bro, who are you doing this for?
It's a different mix because there's the guys who get into it to be a sport and they're like mixed martial arts, and then there's the guys who are literally just tough guys from the street who just found a gym and then they got into it and they're like they have that same street mentality and like
they do.
But like whatever works for you, I guess.
It's like the Diaz brothers. The Diaz brothers just want to fight.
Yeah, they're just like ghetto as I love them. But you get like a lot of cool characters like that. You know, you do get that, and then you get guys like Colby Covington, it's just straight up act, and then you get guys who are just like. Pereira, who just looks like a serial killer. Like,
he looks like just a straight up assassin.
He has bodies buried in his backyard. 100%. 100%. That man has a body.
There was an older UFC fighter that was like, I think, I could be wrong here, but I think he was like Russian, and his stare downs were always like.
Mirko Krokop?
Yeah, he like actually fought. Dude, that guy's cold as fuck. I would never want to jump in a ring with him because he said, I was like, oh, you are going to fucking kill me. Like
he's got.
There's no hold bar.
He was in like whatever country he's in, like they're full on special military. Yeah, special military.
That's
like,
fun. I would not want to fuck around.
Only like 1,000 people get selected in the country to be in that type of like militia.
Yeah, like hasn't he like he's genuinely like seen like people die and stuff 100%. And like. Kill people. So like, that's fucked. Like I'm jumping into a ring with a guy that like, fuck man. Like I'm not talking shit. My press conference, I would be way too scared to talk shit about him.
Yeah.
It's just like, might actually die like this.
I actually always hate it when they talk shit, unless like, because it's like when they talk crap, it's like, oh, you have to win now, otherwise this will get clipped, and like you live in the social media space where it's like this is just gonna make you look so
well, that's like that.
dumb.
Like my basketball team, I go for Boston Celtics. There was a guy, and he had the 2 free throw shots to win the game. And he was talking trash to the other guy. He's like, I'm not missing these. I'm not missing these. He fucking missed both, and we lost. I'm like, you fuck. Because that's going to be, that's all, that's the only thing that's going to get played now. Like, it doesn't matter how good your fucking career was. You'll be remembered forever for that fucking moment.
Like John Jones DC. It's just like, he's like, try to kick me, John. Try to kick me. He's like, John's like, I'm letting you know now. I'm going to get you with a kick. You're going to duck in. I'm going to get you with a kick, and it's going to hurt you. He's like, I'll do that second fight.
Do that, John. Do that. Yeah, he did it.
Well, even
that clip becomes iconic.
Yeah. I've had that many street fights. I'm not a boxer.
And he's fucking knocked the fuck out.
Oh, shit.
Very good. All right, guys. That was Morokai 2 Eyes. Thanks so much for watching. We'll see you next one.
Boom.
Boom.